People who occupy the left-wing political positions, the more extreme, the more correlation, tend to have more likely to have been formally diagnosed with depression, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia. This is a trend that I noticed years ago with people on Twitter, especially people in the UK, who would viciously attack me for my tweets and my videos. It was stunning how, when I researched the history, the background of these people, they all had massive problems with depression and mental illness. Now, God forbid, I'm not saying that mental illness and depression isn't a big deal. With opioid abuse at record levels across America, of course it is. But in every single case, I noticed that these people had massive problems with self-loathing, and there seems to be a correlation between people who have problems with self-loathing and people who identify as left-wing. And we are live. Going to get into a few final news stories here in a second. First, I want to direct your attention to InfoWarsStore.com, where we have yet again a raft of great discounts, including Vitamin Mineral Fusion. We're offering this great product at 40% off right now. The platinum standard of advanced multivitamin formulations has arrived as Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Start giving your body the essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and other beneficial compounds that it needs for optimum health. 96% positive ratings, not short of ratings either, 1,856, 4.8 review on that. You can also get a further 10% subscription discount with auto ship. And of course, that means you don't have to keep remembering to reorder the product when you run out. So Vitamin Mineral Fusion available, the advanced multivitamin formulation, for 40% off right now at InfoWarsStore.com, where we also have things like the Ultimate Fish Oil, Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste, and of course the InfoWars Protein Life bars, all available at discount right now at InfoWarsStore.com. Your support has enabled us to continue to thrive and survive in the era of deplatforming, so we really appreciate your support, and please get the products right now at InfoWarsStore.com. Headline on Summit.News, new stats reveal nearly half of all criminals in Paris ghettos have migrant background. Of course, the very existence of no-go zone ghettos was denied and debunked as a conspiracy theory by much of the media for several years at the height of the refugee crisis. Well, now, according to newly released statistics, in some areas of Paris, almost 50% of criminals have a migrant background. This is out of French newspaper Le Figaro, mainstream newspaper, which reports that in certain departments, the number of foreign-born criminals is as high as 47.6%. These figures are from the National Observatory of Delinquency and Criminal Responses, reveal that crimes carried out by unaccompanied youth increased by 22.7%. This is from 2016 to 2019, right after that wave of migrants poured into cities like Paris. And you noticed the difference. Believe me, you noticed. In fact, I remember going to Paris in 2015 and going back in late 2016, and the difference was very noticeable. For example, pickpocketing offences committed by younger migrants have risen from 15.8% in 2016 to 31.7% in 2019. So you're talking about basically doubled. Burglaries in Paris carried out by young migrants rose from 2.1% in 2016 to 13.1% in 2019. That's a massive spike. While foreign youth involvement in violent robberies also surged from 4.8% in 2016 to 16.6% in 2019. Of course, France, like the UK, has a massive problem with knife attacks and violent crime in general. And the stats also revealed that 120 knife attacks occur in France on an average day, with 44,000 victims of knife crime being reported every single year. So France continues to enjoy its cultural enrichment. Meanwhile, a new study, or a survey to be more accurate, it's an online survey, finds people who identify as left-wing more likely to have been diagnosed with a mental illness. The data speaks for itself. This was a survey carried out by Slate Star Codex, an online survey website, which collected a wealth of data from people, and I looked at the questions. There were probably like 200 questions in this survey. Ask them to identify their educational, demographic, lifestyle, and political views, and then ask them if they've been formally diagnosed with depression, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia. And it found that people who occupy the left-wing political positions, the more extreme, the more correlation, tend to have more likely to have been formally diagnosed with depression, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia. This is a trend that I noticed years ago with people on Twitter, especially people in the UK, who would viciously attack me for my tweets and my videos. It was stunning how, when I researched the history, the background of these people, they all had massive problems with depression and mental illness. Now, God forbid, I'm not saying that mental illness and depression isn't a big deal. With opioid abuse at record levels across America, of course it is. But in every single case, I noticed that these people had massive problems with self-loathing, and there seems to be a correlation between people who have problems with self-loathing and people who identify as left-wing. Try and figure out what causes that correlation. The results show that the highest percentage of respondents, 38% who admit being diagnosed with forms of mental illness, also identify politically as Marxists. In comparison, just 12.1% of conservatives say they're being diagnosed with a mental disorder. And as I state in the article, while the survey is by no means scientific, it does give an insight into how disturbed people are more likely to be attracted to fringe leftist beliefs, which in a lifestyle sense, and by the way, these people were asked to map out their lifestyles, their behavior, usually encourage degeneracy and a lack of moral responsibility. So no doubt that self-loathing people tend to more identify with left-wing beliefs that give them a free pass to jettison any sense of moral responsibility, and of course live their lives claiming that they're depressed, that it's an outside force causing them to behave in certain ways. That's why they're attracted to left-wing beliefs. It was a survey of 8,000 people. It was by no means a small pool in that survey. Meanwhile, after failing with worm burgers, Norwegian grocery chain to launch cricket burgers. The first trial failed. Now they're going to go back and say, well, people didn't want to eat worms. Maybe they'll want to eat crickets. And who knows? I mean, as I cite in this article, there was a Mexican restaurant in Soho, New York City, where the cricket burgers were apparently a surprise hit, in the words of the New York Post. Of course, we know why they're promoting eating bugs and eating worms, because our standard of living is going to be dramatically reduced if they get in these global warming, Green New Deal programs, if they successfully demonize the meat industries, the milk industries, and force us all over to this high protein and oh so trendy diet of eating things like mealworms and bugs. Well, now in Norway, Supermarket Meny, this is the supermarket chain in Norway, scrapped the idea of worm burgers after insufficient demand, imagine that, but seem convinced they can stir up enthusiasm for people to chomp down on insects. Horn Hein, who's the communications manager of this company, told news website E24, quote, "It is difficult to see whether Norwegian consumers are more open to insects in a burger than bread, but the link to testing alternative protein sources such as insects is probably more closely linked to a burger. And the crickets contain 60% protein. It's very easy to create the burgers. They just grind down the crickets and mix them with flour, make them into a bug patty, and serve it to their consumers." They made some of the staff for this Meny corporation test the cricket burgers, and apparently they were very appetizing. The respondents to the article didn't seem so enthusiastic. One of them said, "There's no chance in hell I would eat this." Another one said, "No boycott is needed because there won't even be any sale." So according to the respondents to the article, not so keen on the cricket burger, but they're going to try and trial it in that grocery supermarket chain. We'll see what the result is. Good luck. Good luck. Meanwhile, Berkeley tells students not to post racist coronavirus memes. This is out of the University of California, Berkeley, that's telling students not to post memes about the coronavirus, asserting that fear of the epidemic is rooted in racism. It's not rooted in the fact that 70,000 people, based on the Chinese Communist Party's official numbers, which are probably way underestimating it or straight up lying about it. It's not based on that. It's not based on the fact that 2,000 people have already died from the coronavirus. No. According to Berkeley academics, fears about the coronavirus are based on, quote, an assumption that the West, particularly Anglo-American Christians, should dominate the world. So if you don't want to catch the coronavirus, basically you're a white supremacist. And the biggest problem with all this, as the WHO itself has suggested in now 2 separate press releases, is not the spread, the potential global pandemic nature of the coronavirus. It's social media memes and GIFs. Now, Berkeley is telling students if they post social media memes and GIFs, that will only provoke more racism. So again, spread of coronavirus, protecting yourself, washing your hands, preventing a global pandemic. That might be somewhat important. What is more important is not offending somebody and hurting their feelings with those dastardly bat soup memes. That's going to wrap it up for the show. War Room is coming up next. Breaking news at summit.news.
Does your shampoo leave your scalp itchy and your hair dry and frizzy? Introducing Emmerich's Essentials Natural Herbal Shampoo, made with organic oils for an exhilarating fragrance. Enjoy all-natural and chemical-free shampoo for a healthier you. Gentle enough for color-treated hair and sensitive scalps. Only pure, organic, antiseptic herbs that have demonstrated antimicrobial activity are used. Go natural. Go organic. No parabens or sulfates. Nothing to weigh you down. Get cleaner, healthier hair with Emmerich's Essentials Tea Tree Shampoo.
Real stuff, man. We're talking about the real deal here. And I love Trump all day long, but man, I tell you, he sits there and lets these big tech people keep running roughshod over him. Everybody, I mean, I've got a problem. And we'll just take the Trump rallies over. That said, about 2 months ago, I came up with a plan that I haven't launched yet. We have a warehouse full of hundreds of thousands of stickers, 20 different stickers. Impeach the Democrats, save the Second Amendment, defend the First Amendment, Infowars.com. And it looks like duct tape, but it's just a regular sticker. You put it over your mouth, you go to a Trump rally, and you instantly take over without even disrupting things. People say, why are you doing this? What's happening? Well, you go, well, we're being censored, and Trump won't do anything about it. And Dr. Pachenik, let me just ask you what you think, because I've not launched this yet.
It's brilliant. You've taken the very element that they try to repress you with, that silence, and made it into a weapon. You have the loudest sound of all, silence. And you know what's most disturbing to people? Silence.